I was walking down the hallway from my first period class to my second period class. That was an auto mechanic class. And I remember seeing people start to shuffle. There was a buzz that it was about. And then I saw a group of girls over here crying. And I saw two teachers with panic on their face. And I knew that something was in the air, something wasn't right. I remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened. As I walked into my second hour class, the TV was turned on and one of the twin towers was on fire and smoking. Couldn't believe it. What a freak accident. What a terrible occurrence. And so many people would be hurt or killed. And then, as I sat there wondering about how such a freak accident could occur, the second plane struck. My mind raced and I tried to imagine how could a coincidence like this happen when my teacher spoke up and immediately said, "We're under attack." I realized what was happening not just in my school, not just in my community, in my family, in my hometown, but all across the United States. I can remember for weeks after that all flights were grounded and the skies over the United States were eerie and calm. Not a single plane or jet in sight. I remember the years after, my friends, as we graduated high school, that was my senior year, began to enlist into the Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. That my friends would skip out on college, they would skip out on other plans. After I was already committed to go to school, some of the people that graduated that I played football with would go into the military. I remember my friend who was killed by a vehicle-borne EID. I remember many others who were shot or wounded and the families that it affected. I remember how evil can affect people on such a broad scale. But I also remember the helpers. I remember the police and the fire and the ambulance, all the medics in the hospitals, the civilians and the countrymen running to each other's aid, calming each other, building up an edification of how we can be a little more. Once we were attacked, we were hit to our core, a punch in the stomach like the United States had not felt since Pearl Harbor. We rallied together. There were flags in almost every home and on every corner and every business. It meant something once again to be a member of the United States of America and a citizen of one of the greatest countries that has ever existed. And I will never forget that day or the years following. And today on 9/11, all these years later, I still remember the changes that took place and the great heroic actions that followed that day. The soldiers and the Marines and the government officials that all pushed for one single thing, the unification of the United States and the vanquishing of evil from the world. Now, I know we have detracted from that in so many ways over so many years, but one thing stands for sure for all time. There will always be evil in the world, and there will always be the leaders and those who do good to overcome and resist it. We have a clear message from the Bible that says if you resist the evil one, he will flee from you. So I ask you in remembrance of 9/11, are you waking up every day looking for an opportunity to resist the evil one so that he flees and that good and justice prevails?